Welcome to Smoky Ribs. I'm Russ Jones. In today's video, I'm doing a summer sausage. I'm doing a jalapeno, cheddar, venison, pork sausage. What I've got is 50% pork, 50% venison, and I will be adding some cheddar cheese in this as well as some jalapeno. It should be good. Stick around, I'll show you how to do it. All right, so what I've done is I've taken the deer meat, and if any of you hunters out there know, not the very select choices of meat, but like in your legs and hams and things like that, it's just riddled with sinew and connective tissue and tendons. So I have took and I have removed most of the silver skin that I could possibly get off of there, because that stuff is like rubber bands on there. And even if you grind it, it's still going to make your product tough. So I have taken and removed all of that, or as much as possible. And I've also took my pork butt is a boneless pork butt, and they're about the same weight. I had just as much deer meat as I did pork. So I've combined these, I cut them into cubes that will fit into my grinder here. Now, this is what I end up with. I've got about almost 12.5 pounds, which is half of what this seasoning will do. This is the summer sausage seasoning. This is a plain seasoning that is made by PS Seasoning. And also along with that, by the way, that came in a kit. That comes in a kit. And what you get is that seasoning, enough for 25 pounds. There's 10 of these. These are fibrous casings, 2.5 inch. And also it has this is a maple cure. This has already got your nitrite in there. It's got sugars, maple sugars, and I'm not really sure what all is in there, but it's all ready to go. You ain't got to do nothing. And one thing I had or have is sodium erythorbate, and what that does is it speeds up your curing process. Instead of having to put this product in a refrigerator overnight or a whole day and let that cure go to work, that is a cure accelerator. And I had purchased some just for this video because I knew I was going to have to do this all in one day. What it does, it accelerates the cure, allows you to go from casings straight out to the smoker, and you don't have to wait. But to find out, it's already included in this seasoning right here. They got the proper amount of the sodium erythorbate for this amount of sausage. Well, 25 pounds. Like I said, I'm doing half of that. So I'm going to set up my grinder. We're going to go ahead and get all this ground. We're going to do a first grind through a 10mm plate, and then we'll add our seasoning. And by the way, I've already got my seasonings measured out. This is exactly what I need for, which is half of the package. And I've also got half of the cure mix. All right, I've got my grinder all set up, and I did lubricate the blade, and I lubricated the backside of that plate. That's where you have that friction going on as it's cutting. So that will help keep any potential heat down. As you can see, I've got my frozen jacket on here. Everything's ice cold. We're going to go ahead and throw a few pieces of meat down in this chute just to have it at the ready. I tell you what, that grinder is doing a fine job. Look at it just spitting out of there. All I'm doing is dropping it in. I can't hardly keep up with it. This is only a number 12 grinder, but man, it does good. Right inside here, there's some meat that hadn't been ground. So the way you get that out is you take some of this that's already ground and you pass it right back through, and that will push out the part that hadn't been ground. Then you can just dig out the ground part from the inside here before we do our second grind. So to show you what I'm talking about, we can take and pull this to us. And this meat right here has already been ground. Alright, so right now is a good time to go ahead and wash this. Just take a sprayer like on your sink and push all that meat out. Don't give it a chance to get hard. It gets real hard to clean once you do that, especially on a small plate. Alright, so we got our 4.5 millimeter on here. Now what I want to do at this point is take the seasoning only. I'm just going to disperse this all over the ground meat. We're just going to give that a good mix by hand to start with. And we're going to run it through the grinder, and that's going to give even a better mix on everything. It's going to combine the pork with the venison very well, and it's going to blend these seasonings in. But we'll give it a quick mix by hand first. And we are ready to grind. And here we go. Alright, we have reached the end of our meat here. That last little bit. Alright, just wait for it to stop. And once again, I'm going to take some more of this meat. Now that we got that second grind, we're going to feed it right back through. That will push out the remainder of that coarse grind. So for the amount of meat that I've got, which is right at 12.5 pounds, I've got 16 ounces or a pint of water. I did filter this water. We got a water filter, and into that I'm adding this cure. This is a maple cure with the nitrites, as I mentioned earlier. This will just give it better distribution if it's put in water. Let it dissolve in that. Alright, so I've got the meat in the refrigerator. I'm going to load this hopper up and we're going to start mixing. So I'm going to go ahead and load this hopper up with all the meat. And I'm going to let it mix for around 5 minutes. And then at the end of 5 minutes, I'm going to add the cheese and some jalapeno into this. But we're going to try to give it a good chance to get good mixed in with this cure. Start a good protein extraction. The emulsification on summer sausage is tighter than a lot of your sausages. It's not a coarse grind at all. You know what I'm saying? It's not a coarse texture. So you want to make sure you got a real tacky product here when it's all said and done. And that amount of water will aid in that. As you noticed, I'm using about twice the water I normally do in just a regular smoked sausage. We're going to pour our water cure mixture in. And we are going to turn it on. Alright, so it's cheese time. You may remember another sausage video I did here a few weeks ago, and I used a half a pound of cheese. Well, here's the other half going in. And here's another whole pound. You want to put anywhere from 10 to 15% of the weight of meat in cheese. Now into that, I'm kind of guesstimating the amount of jalapeno. This is a dried jalapeno. I think I'm going to go in with like 3 tablespoons. I don't want a whole lot. I want people to be able to enjoy it. But I do want a few specks showing up throughout it. I think I'm going to hold with that right there. Continue on. So let's take a look and see how we look. Oh yeah, man, that's looking good. Alright, so let's go ahead and dig all this out of here. Yeah, man, that's got some great protein extraction. Look at that. Just hanging on. That is exactly what you're wanting. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get all of this out of here. I'm going to bring my stuffer in here, and we're going to stuff these casings. So we're just going to go ahead and load this thing up. And as always, put you some in there, pack it down to where you don't create a bunch of air bubbles. So I wanted to do one before we actually put it on video just to see what the results were, and there you go. So I'm going to take another casing. I've got 5 of these soaking. I figure half a batch, they sent 10, so 5 should be pretty close. All right, so let's go on with our casing. By the way, you don't have to really worry about a blowout on these kind of casings. They're really tough. So you want to watch your end. Make sure you leave enough to tie your end up. And I think we're getting pretty close there. Okay. So you want to give this a really good twist. Get that good and tight on that end. Now, I have a clipper, which you don't have to do that. You can use butcher's twine and just tie you a knot on that. But this does make life much easier, as you can see. All right, that's 2 of them. I'm gonna go ahead and knock the rest of these out. I'll see you at the smoker. I've got the summer sausage hung up. As you can see, we're using the little PK smoker because this is exactly what it's made for. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this for 125 degrees, and we're just going to let this dry out for about an hour. Then we'll start adding smoke and put some water in the water pan there. And by the way, I've got me a probe that's inserted on the end of this one. It's going down about right here. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up, let it do its job. All right, now I'm opening up the bottom vent wide open, and I've got the top vent wide open. So like I said, about 1 hour of drying out. Then from there, we're going to ramp the temperature up to about 150, start adding smoke, some hickory smoke, and put some water in the water pan. Just to bring you up to speed real quick, what I did after 1 hour of drying is I brought this up to 150 degrees. You can see right here it's at 148. It's swinging between 148, 151, right in that range, which is really good. This smoker is very impressive when it comes to holding that range right where you want it. Now, I have a probe inserted in one of these summer sausages, dead center going in, and right now I'm reading 125 internal temperature, and we have been smoking going on ever since I added the smoke. We've been going about an hour and a half. When I hit the 2 hour mark, I'm going to raise this up to 160 degrees. We're going to go 160 for 30 minutes. Then I'm going to take it up to 180, and we're going to finish out at 180. When I hit 160 degrees internal, I'm dealing with wild game here. I want to make sure it's good and safe, so I'm bringing it all the way up to 160 degrees Fahrenheit internal. But just want to bring you up to speed. As you can see, I got a nice little thin smoke, just like I had the last time I used this on the beef sticks. Really working good. Very impressed. Just want to bring you back real quick. This is probably the last clip that I'm doing outdoors because we got about 1 more hour of daylight, and I just brought it up to 180 degrees a few minutes ago, and it's ping pong between, well, there it is, I'm at 180, and the internal temp is at 136, so I'm about 24 degrees away from my target temp internally on one of these sausages. Now once I hit that 160, I will take an instant read thermometer and I will verify that temperature in various places throughout the sausages and make sure, just verify it. Now after that, I'm not going to show it. I showed it on my beef sausage video where I took a container and I had ice in it and saturated ice with water. And what we'll do is remove them at 160, do a real fast cool down, and get the internal temperature, the core temperature of that sausage below 100 degrees, more like 80 degrees. Then we can remove it from the water bath. And after that, then we're going to slice into it and see how we done. So the next time you see me, I'll be inside. So let's take a look and see how we done here. I'm just going to take and cut off the very end. Oh, it's looking good so far. Look at that, man. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Look at that, so smooth. That's just like store-bought bologna as far, or hot dog wiener. That's what that emulsion does. All right, let's go ahead, and the way you get into this is you take and just cut your casing and you peel it away. Oh man, I am super happy with this. Look at that. Look at the results of that. That looks fantastic. Look at that. All right, let's cut a piece off. The definition of that with the cheese, little small bits of jalapeno, that's exactly what I was going for. I'm gonna go ahead and slice some of this, get a few thumbnails for the video. I'll be back in a few minutes and we're going to try it out and see how we actually done as far as flavor goes. That's the important thing, right? Oh man, look at that. That turned out fantastic. The creaminess from that cheese in there is just outstanding. Got a little bit of back end heat from that jalapeno, but the flavor is absolutely, I want to say phenomenal, but it really is. It's phenomenal. It's really, really good. I don't care where you have had summer sausage, where you have bought it or whatever, you're going to be hard pressed to find any store-bought that's this good. This is fantastic. PS seasonings, man, I'm telling you, that's the way to go. If you don't want to second guess yourself, if you're not a seasoned sausage maker, and I'm not, this is more of a hobby for me. I do a lot of things. Y'all know that. Y'all have been watching my videos for a long time, 8.5 years. But sausage making has always been a passion of mine, and I haven't done it in a long time, so I wanted to bring that back. I'm telling you, PS Seasonings has everything already mapped out, worked out for you. This is just a perfect flavor. I can't say enough about it. It's moist, it's juicy. Summer sausage. Now with that said, original summer sausage, as many of you know, and some might even comment, is a fermented sausage that is fermented for months and will last well into the summer months, and that's how it got its name, summer sausage. And it's dry cured, like I said, fermented, and it's completely shelf stable. This isn't, just like the beef sticks, this does have to be refrigerated or frozen, but I'm here to tell you this is fantastic. Takes what, 10 hours to do from start to finish. Fantastic results. Y'all check out PS Seasoning, and if you're into sausage making or want to get into sausage making, I hope you refer back to this video with some sort of guidance in that. There is some upfront cost getting started, like with the grinders, the stuffers, and things like that. But you can actually get started pretty cheap. If you have a KitchenAid mixer, they have a stuffing grinder attachment for that. You could actually use that. It's going to be a slow process. If you really get into it, you're going to find yourself dropping some money and getting some better stuff. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope you got something from it. And wow, this has far exceeded my expectations. Until next time, smoke your ribs, barbecue.